Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Shadyology. Hello there, YouTube. It is I, your unfriendly neighborhood Skeletor. And today, my friends, I, Skeletor, am going to react to another top 10 list. Although this one's going to be a little different. In this top 10, I, Skeletor, am not just going to listen to someone else's top 10. I shall be simultaneously giving you my top 10 at the same time. That's right, a double top 10. And today's channel I shall be reacting to is one called Toy Galaxy. It's one of Shane's favorites, apparently. It's a must-go-to channel for everything 80s. So I encourage you all to go onto Toy Galaxy's channel, subscribe and leave a like. I've seen his channel. He does a lot of good work. Anyway, without further ado, let's watch this thing, shall we?
As someone who grew up in the 1980s, I can tell you in the language of that era that this list is like totally awesome, radical, and on a scale of minimum to maximum, it is to the max.
To the max! Remember that saying? I loved that saying, to the max. Everything in the 80s was to the max. Skeletor was to the max. You know what? I've decided I'm bringing back to the max. As of now, to the max is back. Now, before we start, let's look at this background here he has. I just love looking at their nerdy toys. Right away, I'm already liking this guy. He's got my head here, see? With what is that, a helmet from Laser Tag. So if anyone wanted to know what Skeletor would look like with a Laser Tag helmet, well, there you go. Other than that, he's got a Castle Grayskull. Is that Optimus Prime on Castle Grayskull? He's got a whole mishmash of things going on there. Where's the uniformity? Sometimes you got to ask yourself, are these guys married? What do their wives think of all this? Is that why they lock up their men in the basement? You can go to the basement with the toys. I don't want any of those toys though upstairs. And if any of those toys enter the living room, we're through.
It has action heroes, alien robots, buffed up muscle dudes, and plenty of ninjas. Possibly too many ninjas.
What? No! Impossible. There cannot be too many ninjas. They're the coolest things ever.
We may have overdone it on the ninjas. Hi,
like I said, no.
I'm Dan Larson, and this is the top 10 action figures of the 1980s.
Was he just coming on to me?
To put this list together, we reached out to you, the viewers of Toy Galaxy, on
Me? He never reached out to me. I didn't get no memo.
various social media platforms, including Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and our Patreon. We asked you to vote for your top 5 action figures of the 1980s and didn't really give you any more guidance than that. Do Transformers
top 5, but this was a top 10. We asked you for top 5, and we just extended it to top 10.
count? Is this your favorite figures or the figures with the best engineering? Ultimately, it was left up to you to determine what best meant to you. Hundreds of voters submitted thousands of votes, and this is the result.
That's a lot of votes. You spent all that time just counting, I'm sure. And like I said before, I, Skeletor, am going to simultaneously give my top 10 at the same time as he gives his. But before I do it, I just want to address something. What the hell is he wearing? You know, he reminds me of that too cool for school villain type from an 80s ski resort film. You know, like that bully? You like totally don't belong in the ski slope, bro. Like to the max. They have like a montage where he learns how to ski, and he's like skiing with Tony the Tiger. Well, show them you're a tiger. And then at the end he's crying because he doesn't get the girl. That's what he reminds me of.
Number 10 is 1983 LJN Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Warduke. Warduke is an evil fighter, just in case you aren't so good at picking up on context clues. Glowing red eyes floating in a bat-winged helmet, horned skull shield, scale mail armor.
Like I have said before, I've never really been a big fan of Dungeons & Dragons. I never watched that cartoon before. I mean, I knew of them, but I never really watched them. This guy here looks like the love child of Magneto, Mantenna, and the Ultimate Warrior. Just look at these ears and tell me that they're not similar. What were you and Magneto doing, say, 9 months ago? There, Mantenna. Say what?
Spiked boot. Your instincts should be to recoil from his "do I look like I have a plan" appearance. But like
yeah, it's true. He doesn't look like he has a plan. It's like a hodgepodge wardrobe he's got going on there. It's like this guy woke up in the morning and said, "Damn it, I forgot to do the laundry. What do I have left in my drawer?" Whatever I have left over, that's my wardrobe.
Like so many bad boys, you just can't help being drawn in by his devil-may-care attitude. Because dressed like that, it's possible he actually knows which devils may or may not care.
Well, we know that he definitely doesn't care. Not about his wardrobe anyway.
It's possible this figure resonates with so many because he's an outsider, and that is what powered him to the 10 spot out of so many incredible action figures that received votes. It's also possible he's the direct beneficiary of some ranking shenanigans, which we will go over right now. Number 9 is 1988
What? What happened there? He went straight to number 9. I was waiting for shenanigans. I claim shenanigans on his shenanigan baiting. You're a shenanigan tease there, Toy Galaxy. Anyway, that was his number 10. Skeletor's number 10 action figure, Ace McCloud from the Centurion. I actually really like the Centurions. The cartoon was awesome, and I like the whole idea that you can transport weapons from space at any time. If you drop a weapon or He-Man disarms you, you can just say, send me more weapons immediately. And boom, you got more weapons. Very handy. And I choose Ace McCloud because he flies. And I, Skeletor, have been always jealous of flying characters like Stratos. For those who want to know, these aren't his official armor. These are actually custom made by Shaney himself. My only problem with this action figure was that without all this, when he doesn't have his cool weapons and wings, he kind of looks like Swiss cheese. It's kind of like He-Man Revelation, filled with holes and look kind of awkward. When they got their full armor, they look pretty rad. To the max. But here is number 9. Number 9. Number 9.
It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All 4 Ninja Teens are taking the 9 spot because there's no way you can put just one of them on the list.
I disagree. I think you can. I think you're just too much of a pansy to hurt their feelings. Nice, Skeletor. Say hurt their feelings. Single them out. All turtles aren't created equal.
It's basically the same figure painted 4 different ways with different accessories. Any vote for any turtle was counted as a vote for all the turtles because they truly are an inseparable entity. Like the classic Ninja Turtle saying goes, all for one and one for all, my dudes.
Was that the Turtles or was that the Three Amigos? Or Three Musketeers. I can't recall which one.
Is it fair to treat the Turtles as a team on a list of best
No, it's not.
action figures, regardless of whether it meant the inclusion of Warduke? Let's call the judges and see what they had to say about it.
What is that, a Qualcomm?
It's ringing. It's still ringing. We probably should have set this up beforehand.
I'm calling shenanigans on that phone.
You know what? We'll come back to this.
I wonder how long it takes to charge that phone. Okay, so that was his number 9. My number 9 action figure is a WWF LJN rubber wrestling figures. And out of them, I choose, of course, Hulk Hogan. Why? Well, let me let you in on a little secret there. I, Skeletor, was a full-fledged Hulkamaniac. That's right. I would show you my 9-inch pythons. And yes, I know wrestling is fake. You don't have to tell me that. These figures were actually quite awesome. First of all, they were made with indestructible rubber. You imagine if your cars were made with this rubber, there'd be hardly any accidents. Not only would your car be indestructible, but it would soften the blow. I mean, these figures were really great. You can throw them at your little brother and sister and only leave a minor bruise. By the way, don't throw this at your little sister or brother. Skeletor is not encouraging that. I like those, but you know what? I actually even liked the little ones actually more. I mean, these were great and all, but they were so big. LGN made these thumb wrestlers that were just made of pretty strong rubber as well. And look, it fits on your thumb. I kind of wish they made a thumb wrestler of Skeletor. Yeah, then I didn't check that. Maybe not a good idea. Kind of find it disturbing to think that a whole bunch of children out there will be having their thumb up my bum. Another thing these thumb wrestlers are good for is, look, Hulk Hogan's ventriloquist dummy. I present the team of Hogan and Hogan. All right, let's hear his number 8.
Number 8 is 1984 Matchbox Voltron. Technically Voltron 3, lest we forget that the US rollout of Voltron products consisted of 3 different Earth defense teams, all sharing the name Voltron.
Voltron! I actually have Voltron higher on my list.
Voltron 1 was originally Armored Fleet Die Rugger 15 in Japan.
Look at that! Voltron's about to fight Godzilla! Wouldn't that just be awesome if Voltron actually fought Godzilla? Japan, make it happen!
And Voltron 2 was originally Lightspeed Electroid Albegas, and Voltron 3, the one ranked here at the 8 spot, is Beast King Go Lion. a giant combining robot formed from, as his name states, 5 lions that go.
When he ate lion. I know.
Ninja Turtles, there was no reason to list the lions individually, as Voltron itself is a single figure, regardless of his ability to be broken down into 5 figures.
I don't know. Without the head, it'd kind of be weird, wouldn't it? Just a headless Voltron? You need a black lion. He's pretty integral. You can kind of go without an arm, I guess, or a leg. He floats in space, so he doesn't really need an arm or a leg, but he'd look pretty silly without a torso and a head.
Good news for Warduke, who would have been in the 16th spot if not for a series of very generous rulings from the judges.
Is he getting to the shenanigans? Because I'm still waiting on shenanigans.
We're on hold now.
We listen to Careless Whisper on that giant phone. Okay, now for my number 8. And that comes from the toy line of She-Ra. That's right, they're all the way down to number 8 for me. Those upstart figures. But my favorite figure from She-Ra is Grizzler. Why Grizzler, you ask? Well, he was the one that looked a whole lot different than the others. He was unique. He looked like a piece of furniture that I could actually rest my feet on. And I have. Shady lost his chest plate, his back chest plate, and unfortunately without it, it kind of looks like a hairy something that Amber Heard would have left on your bed. Right, Johnny Depp?
Oh no, not again.
He does look like a hairy Amber Turd. But despite that, he's my favorite She-Ra toy. Alright, what's his number 7?
Number 7 is 1984 Hasbro G.I. Joe Storm Shadow. Storm Shadow wasn't the first ninja action figure, but for a lot of kids, he was their first ninja action figure.
He was my first ninja. There should have been a nice toy line called My First Ninja. My first ninja, my favorite ninja friend. My first ninja, roundhouse to the end.
White-clad, dual-sword-wielding assassin stood out amongst a sea of
Look at him. He's got him ninja kicking the bloody Ewoks. You know what? If they actually had him ninja kick the Ewoks, people would have liked Return to Endor a lot more. He's going to kick it to Wicket.
camo-adorned personnel with practical military specializations like jeep driving and bazooka shooting. Of course, this kind of a statement move by...
You know what's found funny about Storm Shadow? Doesn't the color white defeat the purpose of being a stealthy ninja? Right? Blend into its background, drop from the shadows, which is what his name was, Storm Shadow. And yet he's white, pure white. Make no sense. I hide in the brightness of your shadow. Now we see you there, Storm Shadow. No, you don't. You're wearing all white. You reflect the light very easily. No, I don't. Yes, you do. You fool.
Cobra recruiting a ninja wouldn't be ignored by G.I. Joe, who would respond with their own ninja and a karate guy just a year later in 1985. What followed was a ninja-centric arms race that would increase in intensity over the life of the line and through...
A ninja-centric arms race. All the countries are gathering ninjas from around the world. You know what's funny? Even the Transformers had a ninja. And our line as well. You know why? Because ninjas are cool.
Throughout the action figure industry before consuming itself in 1993.
Now for my number 7. And I too am going to keep in the ninja line. As number 7, for me, is the Ninja Turtles. And unlike him, I, Skeletor, am going to be brave enough to actually single out one individual turtle. And it's always going to be Raphael for me. Now I know everyone's like, what, Raphael? Leonardo's blue? Donatello's purple? You should have been one of those. Yes, I do like blue and purple. But Raphael is cool but crude, just like me.
Self-confident sort of supervillain, isn't he?
And that's why I single him out. He's got the best one-liners.
You picked a heck of a time to become a philosopher.
Oh, hey, boss, one I should take down this Toido? Not so fast, Rocksteady. Watch me as I give you a rhinoplasty in the nose. Yeah, paf. Oh, that hurts. And for those who also want to know, these sides are also custom made. The original sides were all brown. All their weapons were just brown. Very boring. One of the biggest problems I actually had with the original line of toys.
Does the phrase, go suck a lemon, hold any meaning for you?
So he made his own. Cheney's good for something, at least.
An idiot with an ego problem?
Let's continue.
Kenner the Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett. A lot of you voted for Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. Makes sense. I don't have him on my list, but I understand if he's there. He is a pretty awesome character. Well, at least design-wise, anyway. The character himself did jack squat.
And for that, at the very least, you have all won my heart this day. My love for the green-armored lipstick jetpack intergalactic Scuba Man is well documented. Lipstick Jetpack, by the way, the name of my new band, if intergalactic...
Wow, an army of Boba Boba Fett's there. You see, that's what the new series should have been about. It should have been an army of Boba Fett's just out to conquer the universe.
Scuba Man is already taken. While Fett was technically date-stamped 1979 because he was technically first released in 1970.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's supposed to be the 80s. He's definitely from 1979. Didn't he first appear in that god-awful Christmas holiday special?
79. The majority of his availability was during the 80s on Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and Droid's animated series blister cards. Sure, it sounds like a rationalization to get Fett in here, but...
And it is. Like you said, you were very partial to the character, so you tried to sneak him in. Maybe that's the shenanigans he was talking about.
Is that legal? Let's see what the judges had to say.
Now, back to the phone.
Oh, great news. Thank you so much. They said they'll allow it.
What? Who are you talking to? That sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher. And why does Charlie Brown's teacher get a say in all this? What does he have on you? Naked pictures or something? Again, I call shenanigans. To the max.
I'm glad that decision didn't come down to me.
All right, now for my number 6. And for me, number 6 is, of course, Voltron, which I alluded to before. Yes, quite an awesome toy. And one of those things that I have mentioned before, that I, too, am very jealous of the Voltron cartoon, is I wish that Japan had made our cartoon so that I, Skeletor, could have my own mech. I mean, could you imagine that? You got Merman for the arm, Beastman for the other one, Trapjaw the leg. I don't know, who's this one? Yeah, who's yellow? Evelyn, she's an old ball and chain. And of course, Skeletor will form the head. If anyone wants to draw this out sometime and send it to Skeletor, in my next video I'll display it. Maybe when I do a Voltron cartoon reaction. Coming soon to theaters near you. Voltron versus Godzilla. Hollywood, Skeletor says make it happen. Alright, next.
Number 5 is 1983 Hasbro G.I. Joe Snake Eyes version 1.5. Snake Eyes was originally...
What? Why is he double dipping? I didn't know he was going to double dip on the toy line. I thought it was going to be one action figure per toy line. That's what I did. I'm calling shenanigans on this. If I knew that, then 1 through 10 would be nothing but Masters of the Universe toys.
1982, and while he was unique right out of the gate, version 1.5 released in 1983 featuring Swivel Arm Battle Grip, known today as Bicep Swivel, would help
Bicep Swivel, something that I unfortunately did not have.
elevate Snake Eyes and the entire G.I. Joe line to Hall of Fame status. Featuring increased posability, a bold black ensemble, an Uzi submachine gun, the weapon of the 80s, and a handbag full of explosive charges, all Snake Eyes was missing was a mysterious backstory that allowed your wildest dreams to fill in his origin story. Oh wait, his file card has the word classified stamped all over it.
Yes, and it should have been left that way. Unlike the film, who declassified it and made it horrible. It should have left it classified. I don't want to know where he came from. That's what makes him awesome. But he needed to have a dramatic backstory. No, he doesn't. He needs to remain mysterious, morons.
Snake Eyes the Commando was the first version of Snake Eyes that Joe fans fell in love with. Covert ops, sabotage, infiltration deep behind.
All things that I, Skeletor, applaud. Well, on my side, that is.
Behind enemy lines where the only way the mission could get done was if Snake Eyes did it. A world of people whose fates, unbeknownst to them, were in the hands of one man whose only flaw was being really good at kicking and punching, but not quite ninja good.
Not quite ninja good. You don't need to be a ninja when you got all those submachine guns. Hey, Snake Eyes, why don't you come work for me, Skeletor? I have a house that's named after you. You could live in Snake Mountain. It's a perfect fit. Alright, so now my number 5. My number 5 will come as a surprise to many of you, and that's G.I. Joe's Cobra Commander. That's right. A lot of you guys are like, I always thought you hated Cobra Commander. No, not true at all. Well, I do find his whining to be obnoxious at times.
Everyone is against me!
He is quite entertaining as a villain.
Morons! I have morons on my payroll!
And you cannot deny how iconic his suit is. That helmet. I liked him a hell of a lot more than Serpentor. He was a one-note brute. Yes, I command every 5 minutes.
I command!
He was even more obnoxious. Hell, he was so strong he didn't even need help. He was a Gary Stew of a villain.
I would concede your failure, you arrogant fool!
I even like when Cobra Commander came out as this guy, the armor suit Cobra Commander. I actually really liked him. He was one of my favorite action figures. And even the later on Dark Cowl Cobra Commander, complete with his aliens gun. So there, for those of you who say that Skeletor doesn't like Cobra Commander, that's disinformation.
Oh, I'd say
All right.
Number 4 is 1985 Hasbro G.I. Joe Snake Eyes version 2.
Now he's triple dipping. He just did a bloody Snake Eyes. Now he's doing another Snake Eyes. No, I know these were votes from people, but still. You can tell people when they vote, we're not double dipping. And they would have to pick someone else. I'm starting to see where the shenanigans is coming in. To the max.
83 Snake Eyes was popular. 1985 Snake Eyes would be just as popular by design. Roll that beautiful bean footage. All right, guys. Snake Eyes is selling a lot of toys for us here at Hasbro.
He went from douchebag 80's character to douchebag 90's character.
Bro, how do we keep that gravy train rolling? Ideas now. Go. Uzi. Sword. What about a visor that makes him look like a medieval knight?
Why was he wearing headphones in that one? Was he just not paying attention at the meeting? Hey, put those headphones away. We're in a meeting here.
Or like a wrist arrow launcher thing. Yes. Great ideas, all of it. Put all of it in.
I don't trust a guy who wears his tie on the outside of his sweatshirt. Looks like the ideas of a crazy person.
Jericho, you're our best toy designer. You've been awful quiet. Do you have any ideas about what would make version 2 Snake Eyes better than version 1?
Yeah.
A wolf.
You have to take his sunglasses off to say it. And no, I disagree. I don't agree with a wolf. Maybe a cat. I like cats, because I'm a cat person, not really a dog person, for obvious reasons.
Hard to say whether version 2 Snake Eyes brought in new Snake Eyes fans or merely split the base into two factions. Factions that even for
Now you got the Snake Eyes fans versus Snake Eyes fans.
this list can't come together and end up splitting the vote. Snake Eyes would have taken the top spot easily if everyone could have agreed which one of the two versions was best. Heck, even version 3 and 4 got some votes, but despite the flexibility of the judges, each version of Snake Eyes is just...
You're the judge. You're the one. You're the one who asked you made the list. All you have to do is say, guys, you know what? Stop fighting. Are you telling me that nobody had a preference when it came to the Ninja Turtles? You bunched up the Ninja Turtles together. Why couldn't you bunch up Snake Eyes? I'm calling shenanigans. To the max.
Too distinct to be combined, so Snake will have to settle for taking 2 of the top 5 spots instead of being number 1.
All right, now for my number 4. And number 4 for me is, of course, the Thundercats. Thundercats. Oh! Now I know everyone's gonna say, it's Cheetara because you're in love with her. Well, not really. Yes, well, it's true I am in love with Cheetara. See me later after the show, baby. Don't run too far. For me, Panthera was my favorite. The reason being, not just because his aesthetic, again, blue and gray, but I'm also partial to nunchucks. That's right, I love the nunchucks. And he had the nunchucks with a cat's claw, which made it even more awesome. And he also drove the Thunder Tank. And as we know, Thunder Tanks are really awesome at picking up kittens. And no, it's not Mumra. Look at this ugly face. Shaney lost his helmet and even looks more grotesque without it. See your face, you brute. I don't know where his face starts and my butt begins.
You're no work of art yourself, you scaly reptile.
My face is a skull, and I'd still take mine over his. That's my number 4.
Number 3 is 1984 Hasbro Transformers Soundwave and Buzzsaw.
I actually agree with this one. I had him on my list as well.
The first appearance of a Transformer on the list, but it was worth the wait. One of the most popular characters, one of the most popular gimmicks, all wrapped up in a box of modern-day irrelevance.
And I love the voice. To me, Soundwave has the most iconic voice in all of cartoons. Well, except for mine.
Rumble, Laserbeak, Ravage, prepare for battle.
Second, if you count mine. But I will say Transformers have 2 iconic voices. Three iconic voices. Can you guess which one they are? Soundwave, 1. Obviously Optimus Prime. And Starscream, a.k.a. Cobra Commander.
No character has struggled to get over their dependence on the past more than poor Soundwave and his family of cassettes. From the top of popular...
Family of cassettes. Never thought of it that way. He's the papa. They should have their own comedy series. Soundwave and the Kids. He's like an overwhelmed single dad.
Less talk and more work.
Has to take them to soccer practice.
Increase efficiency or be terminated.
They get to do all kinds of hijinks to the max. Rumble just destroyed the school again. And he gives him a spanking, wags his finger.
Silence.
Rumble, why did you do that? You are going to be grounded. Get in here.
Hasbro, make this series. It writes itself.
Mountain all the way to the bottom of Dead Technology Valley. But none of that mattered in the 80s. Soundwave was not only a relatively convincing cassette player, but also one of the few Transformers that had some real-life posability early in the line. Some actual points of articulation like elbows and hips and a head that could look left, right, and up. Technically, this doesn't include Ravage, Laserbeak, Rumble, or Frenzy, but also...
Why not? For me, Ravage was the best one. Well, again, I'm partial to cats, but still.
So it does. Part of what made Soundwave so amazing was the ability to refresh his functionality with each new cassette with a Decepticon designation, and the fact that Blaster, the Autobot's spiritual clone of Soundwave, didn't even crack the top 50 on this list serves to strengthen Soundwave's status as a great Transformer.
Nah, Blaster's nothing but a blasted copycat. Come on, name me one of Blaster's tapes. I dare you. Can you name one? I know there was that Rhino guy, and I think there was a cat as well, but I don't remember their names.
You poor excuse for a sound system. All talk, no shock.
And one of the best figures.
Number 3 for me, though, is the Superpowers figures with no elbow-bending punching action. Is he punching or is he running? We don't know. Could be both. But my favorite figure, of course, Darkseid, or Darkseid, depending on whatever side you fall on. Again, you see the theme in colors for me? I'm very partial to blue and purple. A very powerful character. Any villain worth a salt can stand toe-to-toe with Superman, and doesn't even need cheesy kryptonite to beat him. He can beat him on his own merits. Take that, Superman, you super fool. Come on, Wonder Woman, you're mine now. Leave that super loser alone. No, yes, Darkseid. You're almost as strong and as powerful and beautiful as Skeletor. Skeletor? I would be mad if you'd said anyone else. But since you said Skeletor, I'm okay with it. Let's go. That's my number 3.
82 Mattel Masters of the Universe He-Man. Look, I know Masters of the Universe.
Number 2 is He-Man. No, why number 2? I've always considered He-Man a number 2. But as far as a toy line is concerned, number 1. Come on. How dare you mock the Masters of the Universe by making it a number 2, you mullet-wearing imbecile?
In the 80s, but I was not expecting He-Man to show up in the 2 spot. As a figure, he clearly left a mark with everyone who spent time squishing his soft, hollow head or...
Soft, hollow head? Well, I agree with the hollow part. But trust me, it's not soft. It's anything but. He's a hard-headed moron. But I agree, it is hollow.
Flopping his arms with Man-at-Arms and Stinkor. He had a relevant action gimmick that didn't interfere with or in any way distort the proportions of his already exaggerated physique.
Exaggerated? No, it's not exaggerated. Not for who he was. Is Arnold Schwarzenegger exaggerated? Is The Rock exaggerated? Yeah, well, yes.
From a character design standpoint, you didn't even need to follow the mythology to know what his powers were. Getting big and beating stuff up. Hitting
So every guy that hangs out at the gym.
Monsters with his sword, stopping evildoers with his axe, riding his tiger to his skull castle, hanging out with all his beefcake friends.
You left out the beefcake villains. I was no slouch in the beefcake department.
Other than appearing...
He enjoyed that joke a little too much. To the max.
In a few completely ineffectual advertisements in the last few years for a company whose name and purpose I cannot remember, the Masters of the Universe...
Why is Faker staring at that shield? Me, Faker, see reflection in shield. Why I look like a Smurf version of you, He-Man. I always found it hilarious. Everyone could actually call him Faker when he was pure blue. It's like, He-Man, what happened to you? Why do you look so blue? La-da-dee, la-da-die. Are you depressed? Were you holding your breath? Or did you just slip in some paint?
The brand has been kept alive purely by the will of the most die-hard core fans.
Did you see? They had my leg just sitting there. Look, watch. See that? They ripped up... Oh, that was his legs. I thought that was Skeletor's legs. I just realized that those were Faker's legs. He's like, why? Why did you do this to me? Why did you include me in this just to mock me with my torso? He's now Faker Lieutenant Dan.
Hardcore fans. The last animated series ended in 2004. Approaching his 40th anniversary, there's a lot of buzz off on the horizon about a new film, which will surely feature new action figures and possibly a new cartoon.
I'm still waiting for that, and for the shenanigans that was promised to me.
With any luck, he'll join other 80s powerhouses that are as popular today as they were when they first arrived.
All right, now for my number 2. For my number 2 was a toss-up. I mentioned it before. For me, Yes, Soundwave is my favorite Transformer. Again, you've noticed the motif. I actually didn't notice it until I started doing this. Most of the characters have been blue or purple. Soundwave is my favorite Transformer character. Number one, because he's extremely loyal to Megatron.
Yes, Megatron. As you command, Megatron.
And I respect that. But I also like his tapes as well. Or his children. My favorite, of course, being Ravage. Who's a good kitty? Yes, you are. Yes, you're a good kitty. Transformers, Soundwave, my number 2. But not to be confused with a number 2.
Look who's talking.
And at number 1, 1984 Hasbro Transformers Optimus Prime.
What? Number 1's Optimus Prime? That do-gooding trucker? Him number 1 over me, Skeletor? Once again, I, Skeletor, get the raw deal. To the max.
Optimus Prime led the voting the same way he tears off faces. Handily. It wasn't he
Tears off faces? What are you talking about? Does somebody understand that reference about him tearing off faces? What? When has Optimus ever torn off a face?
even close. Optimus Prime was the face of the brand in 1984. His brilliant red and blue color scheme, the sheer size of his truck mode compared to every other figure released that year, and his role as a father figure within the line made him a must-have for any kid interested in form-changing robots.
I mean, I guess he is iconic, and Peter Cullen doing his voice in the cartoon helped make that happen as well. So fine, I can understand it. I'm not happy about it, but I can understand it. I mean, hell, Shady still has his Optimus Prime from when he was a kid, and still in pretty good condition.
While he wasn't the most posable figure in robot mode, he wasn't exactly a brick either. Shoulders, elbows, wrists, ankles, knees, hips that moved in one direction.
Hips, knees, and toes, hips, knees, and toes.
Like Soundwave, a lot of that was inherent to his transformation, but so what? Not only did
Why does he have him standing in front of his television screen? Shows how cool he is. He won't even turn to watch television. That's how alert Optimus Prime is. Or unless that's supposed to be Teletram 1.
did he have more points of articulation than He-Man or Boba Fett, but he also transformed into a truck. The number one
Yes, which means he can run over both of them.
takeaway from this list is that Optimus Prime has by far had the best agent since the 80s, and it's not even close. You may not like everything he's done since the 80s,
And I haven't. Performers. I hate that they gave him a face. I like things without a face. I mean, seriously, look at him. Doesn't he look like a ninja? He had that ninja-looking face. And then they made him look like Joe Smiley Lips. Why would they give Optimus Prime lips? Was he meant to kiss Shia LaBeouf?
Who's gonna drive you home tonight?
Did they cut that scene out? You know, it really was a pretty cool toy. The only problem with this toy was, you'd always lose the hand. There's always one gimpy arm, see? Even Shady lost a hand. And his gun. How many of you in the comments had Optimus Prime and lost his hand at some point? If not both. Come to think of it, most of the Transformers were like that. Starscream, you can lose almost every part of Starscream. Awesome toys, but those little parts, where's Billy? We had to take him to the emergency room. Why? He swallowed Optimus Prime's hand. We gotta sue Hasbro. Too many lawsuits of kids in the emergency rooms. What do? Well, let's kill him off in the movie. That's why they did that, by the way. Nah, I'm just full of it. To the max.
that he has had more industry success than all of the other characters on this list combined.
Wow, combined? Even more than He-Man? I find that hard to believe. Alright, now for Skeletor's number 1 action figure of the 80s. Drum roll, please. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Skeletor. Da-da-da-da-da-da. As if it would be anything else. If you thought it was going to be something else, you're delusional. Look at how brilliant Skeletor is. Look at that color scheme, purple and blue. Handsome, rugged good looks, muscular physique. I ride a cool purple panther. Much cooler than a green tiger. Skeletor is my number 1. But don't just take my word for it. Let's ask the ladies what they think.
Yes, Skeletor, you're extremely dreamy.
Now stop it, ladies. You're embarrassing me.
Stay away from my man, Tila. I don't care. He's gonna be mine over my dead body.
Ladies, please. You don't have to fight for Skeletor. There's plenty of Skeletor to go around. Unfortunately, I, Skeletor, have to break it to you. There's only one girl for Skeletor.
Oh yeah, and who's that?
Chitara, hop on.
I'm coming, Skeletor. But Skeletor, did all our time together mean nothing?
That's right. It meant absolutely nothing there, Evelyn. See you later, ladies. I don't want to hear any guff from you all. Playtime is fantasy, is it not? I'm entitled to think anything I want. That's what makes playing with toys fun, even for Skeletor.
Those are the top 10 action figures of the 1980s as voted by you, the viewers of Toy Galaxy, a worthy cross-section of the industry at the time. 6 different manufacturers, 7 different lines, spacemen, turtles, robots, warriors, and ninjas. Ninjas! The best thing is that...
He keeps saying ninjas, but he only had, what, 2 ninjas on? He had Storm, Shadow, and the Ninja Turtles. I think he misrepresented ninjas.
Ever came out of the 80s, by far.
Yeah, that was fun. Now, I don't agree with his entire list. There's a few of them that I think, yeah, sure, why not? And once again, Skeletor gets the shaft. And did I miss something? Did he not get into the shenanigans? Because I still am waiting for shenanigans. But whatever. Everyone go and subscribe to Toy Galaxy. He's got a great channel. And when it comes to toys and everything 1980s, he's Skeletor's and Shaney's go-to channel. So please do go subscribe. So, who was your favorite toy growing up? And where should Skeletor take Cheetora on our honeymoon? I don't want to take her to dinner. She runs really fast, which means she has a high metabolism, which means she eats a lot. Skeletor doesn't want to pay for that much dinner. Keep that in mind. Maybe we'll get some fast food. I treat my women right. Oh, before I go, I'd like to thank you all for participating in my recent poll. There was a pretty good turnout to it, and you will all get to see by next week which 80s cartoon won the poll. It was actually pretty close. Closer than I actually had thought. Anyway, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Shady Holiday. Until next time.